My name is Stacey Pitts, and I'm the co-founder of CBD BioCare. And joining me today is Dr. Hillary Hart, right here from the Tampa Bay area. And she practices veterinary medicine, and she provides CBD Bio Pet Care to her four-legged and probably two-legged patients. So we wanted to speak with her today. Welcome.
Oh, good morning.
So, Dr. Hart, tell us a little bit about your practice so that we understand what type of practitioner you are.
Okay, well, I'm a mobile practitioner and I provide primarily wellness care and such as vaccinations, mild illnesses, but a large percentage also of my patients are geriatric, and also I have a lot of patients in hospice care. And I also perform in-home euthanasia when necessary. So what really made me, I was a little bit skeptical, I would say, about using CBD oil, but I was trying to find a more natural way to control the pain of my patients or help increase their appetite. And also, in addition, for myself, I have arthritis in my hands, and during the winter months, my hands were hurting me. And one of my clients had a bottle of your product. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to try this and see how I feel. And I tried using the CBD oil, the BioCare, and my hands within a few minutes started feeling better, and I was able to move my hands. And I thought, well, this is great. So I thought, I am definitely, because I put a lot of thought into when, I wanted to purchase a product, the quality control, all of that's very important to me because it's an investment, and I want my patients, I want to make sure that it works, because I've heard mixed reviews, like, because you can buy CBD oil anywhere on every street corner practically. So, I wanted to do a lot of research, and when I found that it helped me, and I did more research on your product, I thought, this would definitely be a worthwhile investment for me. And I thought it would help my patients tremendously, and also my own dogs, because I have a lot of senior dogs as well with arthritis, and a couple have cancer. So that's really how I first, got involved, with your company and decided, to order. Um,
So tell me about the experience that you've had thus far. You mentioned the experience that you had, and then your dogs, and then also your patients. Let me know what the experience has been like for you and them.
Okay, well, for instance, my own dogs, a couple of them have severe arthritis, and I've been controlling it with their pain with nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories and gabapentin and opioids. But I wanted to try and get away with using so much of those drugs, and I just wanted to go in a more natural route. And so now that I give them the CBD oil, I was able to decrease the other medications, and they're feeling wonderful. And in the morning, I give it to them. I give it to them several times a day if they need it, and they're able to get up and they feel happy, and you can see a smile on their face. And even with my clients that I see, uh, some, their cats, well, I've used it for a lot of different things, not only for pain. So I've just noticed, and the clients report back to me that they do see a big difference. And so, they're happy about that as well, because, their pets aren't sleeping all day from the other like traditional, Western medicine. So they're not, sleeping all day, and they're having a better quality of life. And then in addition, I use it for anxiety. I have patients that have a lot of anxiety going into the car, and it's helped them tremendously. They feel a lot calmer. Uh, and I have a couple of cat patients that their appetite. They were inappetent, and I felt that, by giving the CBD oil, it helped increase their appetite as well. So it does have a lot of uses, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from my clients. Whereas I know some of my clients have just walked into any, like just pet supply shop, or just just a store that sells CBD oil, but where there isn't the same quality control as BioCare CBD has. So, and they told me that they didn't feel it worked. And I said, well, it's because if you don't have the quality control, then you really don't know what you're getting. And that's very important to know.
In your opinion, what would you recommend for people that are watching that have pets? What are all the symptoms or conditions that you would recommend that they try the CBD oil?
Anxiety, I would recommend it. So this is also, it's good for both cats and dogs. Okay, so I will say that, and cats are very sensitive to medications, and you always have to be very careful what you're giving them. But I found it's been very helpful for cats as an appetite stimulant, for anxiety. Sometimes, some of my clients will travel, and so they'll use it, in the car, to get them in the car so they can travel. Some of my clients have moved, and they said, in the past when they've moved, they haven't been able to get their cat like in the carrier. They're crying the whole time, and they're not doing that when they're in the car. And like I said, it as an appetite stimulant, also for arthritis, degenerative joint disease. I've been using it for that as well, for kitties. And then like for dogs, for cancer, and cats for neoplasia also, to manage their pain. And then, the same thing, arthritis, anxiety. It also helps, some dogs and cats are terrified when we have, the inclement weather, thunderstorms, fireworks. So that helps a lot too. I also recommend other things as well to them, like thunder shirts and other natural products. But I've just found that it's helped a lot, and that's coming from feedback from my clients, and then from what I've seen in my own dogs who, they're 10 to 13 years old, and they weren't able to, have difficulty rising in the morning. And I give it to them. That's the first thing I give them, along with their other medications, and they're feeling so much better. And you can see it in their face because they're smiling.
So true. As you know, I bring my dog to work, Lucy. She's under my desk right now. And everybody kind of jokes because in the morning I give her the CBD, and it gives her what I call a pep in her step, because she's a senior dog, and that's, everybody knows when she's had her CBD and when she hasn't, because it's so obvious. And I really think that you have the toughest job when it comes to recommending CBD, because your patients don't talk back, and they verbally aren't telling you, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. So what do you recommend in terms of how to determine a serving size with a pet who can't tell you that it's too much or too little?
Right. So what I always say is to start out with a lower dose and then work your way up until you see the results that you want and that makes them comfortable. With the nice thing about the CBD oil is that people and also animals have cannabinoid receptors in their skin. So with a lot of cats, I'll have the client put some on the ear and even put it in their mouth on their mucous membranes, because you really don't want to put it on food, because if you put it on food, it doesn't get absorbed that well. So that's what I usually, recommend for cats, just starting out in a low dose and see if it helps. And if they're seeing some improvement, but they want to, I always say just try a little more and just a little bit at a time, and then see what is the best dosage amount that will work, that you find the best results based on your cat or your dog's behavior. So it also depends on size, but sometimes like I have large dogs, and for my large dogs I buy the 750 milligrams, and I give them a dropper full, and it's not too much for them. But there are some large dogs that, you don't know. For some of them, it might be a little bit too much for them. So I always say just start on the lower side and then see the results you get. And if it's working, but not to the extent that you would like it to, then just add a little more. But the nice thing about it is you're not going to overdose on it. They might just become a little bit sleepy if you, give them too much. But other than that, I really haven't had too many, I haven't had any issues really with clients telling me that they've given too much or.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really trial and error, I would say,
And to your point, your dog, or your cat or whatever animal you're giving it to, because every animal with a backbone has an endocannabinoid system, so it can benefit from a full spectrum CBD. But to Dr. Hart's point is that if you are giving too much, you can have sometimes the opposite effect. So they could be sleepy, or they could have a lot of energy. So I love your recommendation of starting low and slow. And that's what we tell our clients too. And the other thing that I often mention, and you can speak to this, is sometimes I say, okay, start low and slow. And if you feel like you found the right amount for your pet or your person, then try that, and then you can also back off a little bit and see if you still have the same results. And that's really how you find your sweet spot, because you might find that a full dropper is working, but wouldn't it be fantastic if you could have the same results with half a dropper so that it lasts longer?
Right. I agree with you 100%.
No, I think it's great. I think you've talked about serving sizes. You've talked about some of the benefits and why you're using it. And of course, why you chose to partner with CBD BioCare. And we appreciate that. We really go the extra mile to make sure that everybody knows that we third-party test the product from plant to product. We put a QR code on our labels, and that can be scanned and taken right to our certificates of analysis on our website. And because it is not a regulated product right now in the United States, so it is really important to know what you're taking, because not all CBD is the same.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We value you as a partner with CBD BioCare, and I love what you're doing for your pets. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Okay.